Asia, the largest and most varied landmass on our planet, offers rare discoveries, from possible evidence of human sacrifice to the role of demons in prehistory. Let's explore 15 of these finds in Asia that change everything we thought we knew. Number 15, the fire mummies. Unlike the Egyptians, who gently embalmed their nobles, the ancient Filipino tribes had a different approach. They turned their deceased into fiery mummies. It's as if they looked at their deceased and said, "Let's bake them and spend it sizzling in the afterlife." These gruesome methods led to a grisly discovery: the fire mummies of the Cabayan burial caves. The mountainous northern Philippines was once home to the Ibaloy and Kalanguya tribes, who practiced complex fire mummification of the deceased members of their society. When a member approached death, he was made to ingest probably poisonous levels of salt to desiccate the body from the inside out. After death, the corpse was roasted for weeks or months over a slow fire. Tribesmen would insert glowing embers into the abdominal cavity to smoke the body from the inside. Once dry and rigid, the fire mummies were ready for burial. The mummies were placed in fetal positions and tied with ropes to fit into small wooden coffins in the shape of a Philippine lime called kamansi. Before continuing with this video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right now. These coffins with miniature mummies were hidden in remote caves in the mountains. When Spanish colonizers arrived in the 15th century with Catholic burial customs, the mummification practices quickly disappeared. The Cabalan caves were forgotten until firewood gatherers discovered them centuries later. Today, over 300 fire mummies have been recovered from the caves, some with tribal tattoos visible on their baked skin, dating back 1,500 years. Number 14, the Golden Bowl. In 1958, archaeologists in northwestern Iran were rummaging through the charred remains of the burned-out Iron Age fortress known as Hirbads, or Hesar, near modern Paranshar, when they made a magnificent if gruesome discovery among the rubble, uncovering a shattered gold bowl dating back more than 3,000 years. Once news of the ancient treasure hit the press, it attracted much attention because of its dramatic backstory. The gold bowl, decorated with scenes, belonged to the royal states of Urartu, an Iron Age kingdom centered on Lake Van in Armenia. Judging from the artistic style, it dates to around 800 BC. The bowl, which weighs nearly 1 kilogram and measures 14 centimeters in diameter, features images of warriors, chariots, and mythological creatures. Made of solid gold, it would have been an extremely valuable possession at the time. The golden bowl was found crushed and burned among the ruins of Hirbads. It is believed that around 800 BC, the city was attacked by Eurasians. 3 soldiers attempted to escape with the treasure bowl, but failed to do so in time. The attack resulted in fiery destruction for Hirbads, and the soldiers were trapped under the rubble. The mangled remains of the bull were found near their hands. These men were not heroes, but looters seeking to profit from the theft of the treasure during the invasion. The soldiers' disappearance is a warning about the dangers of looting. Their greed led them to risk their lives for material wealth, but in the end, they lost everything, including their lives. The shattered gold bowl remains a symbol of the high costs of war and human greed. Number 13, Homo floresiensis. What discovery could be more significant than discovering the true species of the ancient hobbits? In 2003, a team of Indonesian and Australian archaeologists exploring the Langbua cave on the remote Indonesian island of Flores made an astonishing discovery: skeletal remains of tiny human-like individuals, barely 1 meter tall in adulthood, with skulls that housed brains only 1/3 the size of normal modern humans due to their diminutive proportions. Reminiscent of fictional hobbits, Homo floresiensis was a genuine human ancestor, long lost and little understood. The small stature and unique combination of cranial and dental features of Homo floresiensis puzzled scientists, who debated whether it was a separate human species or modern humans afflicted with developmental disorders. Recent research has confirmed that it was a primitive human lineage that inhabited tropical islands until 50,000 years ago, overlapping with our species despite its diminutive body and brain size. More than 3 million years ago, at the time of Lucy's Australopithecine ancestors, There was a separate species from the modern human lineage called Homo floresiensis. Despite their small size, this species demonstrated intelligence by using stone tools and mastering fire. For thousands of years, they managed to thrive on the island with limited resources. The existence of this species challenges many assumptions about brain size, cognition, and human evolution. Number 12, the demon on a clay tablet. In 2020, archaeologists announced the translation of a 2,700-year-old clay tablet found decades earlier in the ancient Assyrian cave sanctuary. The unique tablet depicts a demon named Ju and is inscribed with descriptions of an ancient exorcism ritual. The tablet provides rare data on Mesopotamian demonology and folk medicine of the time. The tablet was first discovered in the mid-20th century inside a subway cave located in northern Iraq. This sacred cave was part of a larger temple complex dedicated to the Assyrian national god Ashur and the winged deity Ninurta. Beginning in the 1950s, archaeologists excavated the subterranean spaces, uncovering hundreds of valuable tablets and artifacts that had remained untouched for millennia. Among the finds was the Ju tablet, depicting the demon Ju. In the engraved illustration, he is shown as a winged hybrid creature with horns, the body of a man, the legs and tail of a bird, and a snake-like tongue. The text describes Ju as the evil son of the god Anu. According to the inscription, Ju was believed to be an evil spirit that could possess humans and cause afflictions, such as convulsions and erratic behavior. The Assyrians and Babylonians of the time believed that these afflictions were caused by demonic forces rather than physical ailments. The Ju tablet records an incantation that priests recited to cast out the demon during an exorcism ritual. It states that by the power of the gods, the Ju spirit will be expelled and rendered powerless. Number 11, Mohenjo-Daro. It was one of the most advanced urban centers of the Bronze Age in the Indus Valley of present-day Pakistan and India. At its peak, around 2500 BC, the city had a population of over 35,000, larger than many ancient cities of Mesopotamia and Egypt. However, by 1800 BC, it was completely abandoned. The ruins of Mohenjo-Daro remained undocumented for thousands of years, until excavations began in the 1920s. Since then, archaeologists have uncovered fascinating details of this ancient city and revealed a dark mystery behind its disappearance. The name Mohenjo-Daro means Mound of the Dead in Sinhalese. This ominous name comes from the ruins containing hundreds of human skeletons strewn across the layers of rubble. What caused the great loss of life in this city? Evidence indicates a catastrophic flood that contaminated water supplies and spread disease. There were also mass evacuations, but many failed to escape in time. Other theories suggest an invasion and conquest by nomadic Indo-Aryan tribes at that time. Skeletal remains show signs of violence, such as wounds on skulls and skeletons in the streets. Chemical analysis found traces of incendiary weapons. Mohenjo-Daro was burned and looted by invaders who possibly used some form of chemical warfare. Although climate change and natural disasters may have contributed, archaeological evidence indicates that the inhabitants of Mohenjo-Daro also met a violent end. The identity of the city's conquerors is unknown, but ruins with hundreds of dead gave Mohenjo-Daro its ominous nickname that warns of the costs of ancient wars, especially for the losers. The corpse mound shows the brutality of these ancient lands. Number 10, the Anunnaki tablets. The ancient astronaut theory asks whether extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in the past, influencing belief in gods and the rise of ancient civilizations. Proponents of this theory point to the Egyptian pyramids as evidence of superior technological knowledge imparted by extraterrestrial visitors millennia ago. Cuneiform tablets have also been found in Iraq that supposedly prove the presence of these ancient aliens on Earth. These Sumerian tablets, more than 6,000 years old, describe the Anunnaki, a superior race that came to Earth in search of gold. According to translations, the beings genetically modified the first humans to be their slaves in the gold mines. It is also said that the Anunnaki gods had demigod descendants called Nephilim. In addition, They brought advanced technology and knowledge that started the Mesopotamian civilization. The ancient astronaut theory suggests that the Anunnaki tablets describe an extraterrestrial intervention on Earth at the beginning of mankind. According to this theory, Sumerian knowledge in mathematics and astronomy indicates an alien influence rather than independent human development. Although controversial, the Anunnaki tablets reflect the human desire to explain our origins and our connection to the cosmos. Primitive cultures created stories of powerful gods descending from the sky, but according to Carl Sagan, these stories are more an expression of the human desire to find meaning than an accurate representation of our origins. Although we cannot confirm the existence of ancient aliens beyond our collective imagination, fascination with fantastic possibilities drives us to seek answers about our mysterious beginnings. Number 9. Hidden Rooms of the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal at Agra in India is famous for its elegant Islamic architecture and romantic origins. It was built in the 16th century by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan as a monument to express his deep love for his wife, Mumtaz Mahal. Although it has been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, there are legends about hidden chambers in its lower level that have never been opened. Some Hindu nationalists and researchers believe that the Taj Mahal was built over an ancient Hindu temple dedicated to Shiva. They argue that Shah Jahan took possession of a Hindu sacred site and built the Taj Mahal as part of the Mughal conquest and religious repression in India. Other accounts describe how Shah Jahan intended the Taj Mahal to be his own luxurious tomb and gateway to paradise. Contemporary writings mention that Mughal mausoleums used to have lower chambers for the tombs of nobles and royalty. Several accounts from the 1600s describe the Taj Mahal as a multi-story building, including complex lower levels. Today, however, visitors can only see the cenotaphs on the main level. In 2015, the Archaeological Survey of India explored the sealed rooms of the lower level of the Taj Mahal using ground-penetrating radar. The explorations revealed a major hidden chamber behind the walls, but no exploration or drilling is allowed in the lower level for fear of damaging the building. Therefore, the contents and purpose of these hidden chambers remain a mystery. After 400 years, we still speculate about the wonders and even Hindu temples hidden in these closed vaults. Number 8. Ashkelon Baby Bones. The ancient seaport of Ashkelon, located on Israel's southern coast by the Mediterranean Sea, was an important trading center in the Bronze and Iron Ages. Excavations at the site have revealed relics of its long history dating back to the Neolithic. In 1987, archaeologist Lawrence Steger made a disturbing discovery. Beneath a Roman bathhouse, he found a sewer clogged with human baby bones. Investigations revealed more than 100 infant skeletons in the drain beneath the bathhouse. Studies determined that the infants, ranging from newborn to 3 months old, died shortly after birth. Dating evidence indicates that the babies were deposited between the 3rd and 4th centuries BC. Archaeologists theorized that the bathhouse may have been a brothel where women disposed of unwanted babies. In some cultures, newborns were not considered fully human, so infanticide was a common practice. This involved abandoning the child to its fate. However, the Ashkelon remains showed no signs of exposure or natural death. On the contrary, they appeared to have been deliberately murdered, with skulls smashed and limbs removed. This brutal infanticide was probably carried out by the mothers or maids. Given the location under the bathhouse, the sewer provided a convenient place to hide the small corpses away from public view. Number 7. The Hanging Pillar. An intriguing 16th century building called Lapakshi is located in the Anantapur district of Andhra Pradesh. Although beautiful examples of the Vijayanagara architectural style abound here, one particular pillar located inside the temple amazes visitors. Known as the Hanging Pillar, this pillar seems to magically hang in mid-air with no visible crossbeam or support underneath. Approaching the Hanging Pillar, visitors can see that there is a gap on all sides, passing objects underneath such as a scarf, a sheet of paper, or even a human arm. The pillar appears to hang suspended without gravity, but in reality, it is an architectural illusion. The column connects directly to the ceiling and contains a load-bearing beam hidden in its carvings. Constructing this deception without modern machinery demonstrates remarkable ingenuity. The optical trick has survived more than 400 years since the temple was completed. With the secret of the hanging pillar intact, the designers combined creativity and structural knowledge to achieve something seemingly impossible. Although its secret is known, the hanging pillar remains fascinating and awe-inspiring to those who see it. Centuries later, architectural sites such as the Lapakshi Temple exemplify the artistic sophistication and engineering prowess of ancient Indian builders. The hanging pillar demonstrates the technical skills needed to create great architectural deceptions using stone carvings and cunning, which remains impressive even in today's world. Number 6. A well full of heads. A headless body in a kneeling posture was recently discovered at the archaeological site of the ancient city of Shimao in Shaanxi Province, central China. Archaeologists believe that the skeleton, found more than 3,600 years ago during the Shang dynasty, was the victim of a beheading and burial ritual. It was found with its hands tied behind its back, in an upright kneeling position and facing north. Nearby was a pile of more than 80 human heads separated from their bodies. These headless remains and their arrangement suggest a ceremonial burial after an execution by decapitation. According to records from the Shang dynasty capital at Yinshu, it is known that kings used to sacrifice and bury servants and slaves, especially foreigners from conquered lands, as tribute to their ancestors and gods. In a burial pit in Yinshu, more than 300 victims were found sacrificed and buried together. Although the identity of the kneeling skeleton is unknown, archaeologists suspect that it was probably a captive of a rival tribe sacrificed during the construction of the city of Shimao. The arranged bodies and severed heads reflect the extreme brutality of the Shang kings in their imperial expansion and control over conquered populations. These macabre practices, such as ritual beheadings, had a dual function: to offer human tribute to the gods to ensure their divine favor, and to use terror and domination to keep the population submissive and obedient. These violent practices showed the power and cruelty of the Shang kings in their domination of conquered territories. Number 5. The ancient living forest. In 2016, a team of speleologists discovered a subway forest in Guangxi, China. This ancient forest is located in 3 sinkholes connected by caves near Fengshan County. The trees in this forest are up to 40 meters tall and have lived in complete darkness for more than 2,800 years. The caves are inaccessible to humans and can only be explored with remote cameras. The images revealed limestone pillars and lush vegetation. These ancient trees thrive on sunlight filtered through the caves. The cavern floor and cliff walls are covered with dense vegetation of specialized plants such as begonias, ferns, and mosses. Due to the inaccessibility and isolation of the sinkhole, many plant species unknown to science may exist there and nowhere else on Earth without human intervention. The subterranean ecosystem has evolved uniquely over millennia, with an ancient forest harboring rare organisms and genetic diversity. This provides valuable clues to the adaptation, survival, and origins of the regional flora. Unfortunately, secrecy surrounds sinkhole locations to prevent looting. Specialized teams are required to document and preserve this natural wonder before allowing public access. This ancient forest remains in obscurity, a fountain of youth with exotic flora in a primitive and untouched landscape, isolated from the outside world for over 28 centuries. What future revelations await to be discovered in the sunless depths is only an imagination. Number 4. Extraterrestrial skull. In 2014, archaeologists discovered 3 strange elongated skulls in a burial site near Jiangsu, the capital of the ancient Korean kingdom of Silla. Dating back more than 1,500 years, 2 skulls showed obvious signs of artificial cranial deformation. But the third had truly bizarre alien proportions, with no clear evidence of binding or modification. Cranial deformation involves distorting the natural shape of the skull by prolonged compression, usually achieved by tightly binding an infant's head with a rigid material over a period of months to years. Many cultures practiced head binding, resulting in elongated skulls up to 45 centimeters in length. However, normal proportions are maintained. In contrast, the Yeongju skull was 33 centimeters long, but only 13 centimeters wide, 25% longer than can be achieved even with extreme cranial binding. Nothing like it had ever been found before. Anthropologists were puzzled by the abnormal proportions of the skull, with no evidence of deliberate deformation. Could it be a new human species, or a hybrid? DNA tests were inconclusive, and no artifacts were found to indicate the ancestry or origin of the remains. Although the exact causes of the skull's alien dimensions are unknown, this discovery challenges assumptions about morphological diversity in ancient human populations. Number 3. The Meijishan Mystery. Carved into the cliffs of China's western Gansu province, Meijishan is an extensive Buddhist cave temple complex built more than 1,500 years ago under the Wei and Northern Sui dynasties. Within its 194 hand-carved caves are more than 7,200 colorful Buddhist statues and reliefs, along with ancient murals spread over more than 10,000 meters, representing one of the largest and best-preserved collections of Buddhist art of the period in all of China. However, beyond the immense size and beauty of Jishan lies a deeper metaphysical mystique that continues to perplex archaeologists and scholars. In particular, many complex statues, poses, and hand gestures encoded hidden symbolism that served as esoteric communication to preserve deep spiritual knowledge. Accessible only to initiated practitioners, these cryptic mudras represented mystical ideas far beyond the comprehension of the common people. Researchers are still trying to decipher the hidden meanings of the caves. Peculiar architectural features in the tunnels, such as irregular pillars, sloping floors, niches of different sizes, and disorienting layouts, also seem designed to manipulate perception and lead the mind to transcendent truths. What inscrutable revelations did ancient seekers discover in these esoteric spaces lost in time? Given the lack of documented history, we can only speculate as to how the sandstone reached Meijishan many centuries ago over long distances. Number 2. The Terracotta Army. The Terracotta Army refers to the thousands of life-size ceramic sculptures depicting soldiers, horses, and chariots discovered near the burial complex of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Located near the city of Xi'an, the huge buried army, with more than 8,000 soldiers, protected the emperor in the afterlife after his death more than 2,200 years ago. The army figures were masterfully crafted with vivid expressions, wearing stylized military garb. Each face was unique, and the figures included generals, archers, and infantrymen. In the year 210 BC, at the age of 49, the emperor died suddenly while traveling, probably poisoned. According to his decrees, the royal tomb was sealed, containing treasures and replicas of his earthly domain. The Terracotta Army was buried in battle formation around the tomb in 3 subway pits, encompassing more than 20,000 graves, remained forgotten for millennia, until local farmers unearthed fragments of the figures in 1974. Since then, more than 2,000 terracotta warriors have been identified through meticulous excavations, which continue to this day. According to records, it is likely that many thousands more remain buried and awaiting discovery. In addition to the figurines, actual weapons such as 40,000 bronze swords, arrowheads, and chariot wheels have been found that identify the advanced military might of Qin Shi Huang. Number 1. The Fairy World of Ancient China. In 2015, archaeologists announced an enchanting discovery, a pit containing bronze sculptures of fairies and monsters dating from 2,500 years ago, from China's Warring States period. Found near the village of Sichuan in Henan province, the artifacts depict whimsical mythological creatures that reveal the imaginary world once inhabited by ancient minds. The pit contained more than 24 figurines ranging from 5 to 16 centimeters in height, depicting various creatures and humanoid figures. According to chief archaeologist Kang Yan, these objects reflect the fantasies and imaginations of the Warring States period, offering insight into the myths and folk religion of 2,500 years ago. However, the circumstances of the burial are mysterious. The figurines were intentionally damaged with cuts and fragments before being deposited in the grave. Some were burned and smashed. Ritual destruction of objects often occurs to remove them from the human world, and allow their spirits to pass on to the afterlife. The fairy sculptures have been animated by spiritual forces now released through destruction. Thanks for watching and see you next time.